I'm Rebekah.
I'm Jay. And this is It Real and
How
How
to
to Deal.
Deal.
We got it right. Finally. Yes. So, we're all in COVID crisis quarantine mode, so we thought, hey, it's a perfect time to get some content done. Yeah. So, with all that being said, welcome back to another episode. You guys know how this works. We're going to take paranormal footage, ghosty footage, spiritual footage, and we are going to break it down. Is it real? So, does it have any actual merit to it? If it is, then great. We figure out what it is through our experience and the experience of our guests and how to deal with it. If it's not real, we poke holes in it and we laugh and make fun of it. But this week in quarantine COVID special mode, we have two very special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, may we introduce Caitlin and Jordan Wolf.
Hey!
Yay!
We bring presents.
It's all mine!
That's how we paid to get on the show.
Exactly.
Rolls are dollar amounts, squares are cents. Huh?
Hey,
Yeah,
my
thanks.
mom got her chicken eggs this way. She gave someone toilet paper, and that's how she got chicken eggs last week. So,
I think that's a great deal.
That's great. We're back to the bartering system.
Yes.
And for anybody who wants to come at us, don't you dare, because social distancing.
Hey!
Yes.
We're married. We can do this.
We're
Yeah,
fine.
but we're almost married. We can do this. What experience can you two bring to the table to help us break these videos down?
So, I work in theater and in acting a lot, and in working in theater and acting a lot, you sometimes have to make the magical and the paranormal happen to the audience. You kind of can start to tell in different videos, like, what's been fake, what can they use, what can they, like sometimes it's like a laser pointer or things like that that they can use to create different light settings, different moods around the room as well, like using to create the dry ice effect. And so
I like it.
I am actually a theater professor, so I will bring a lot of the similar interests, but also on the tech side, so I'll be able to notice that. But also, I've been dabbling in the paranormal since middle school. A lot of more speaking with the dead, but I have a lot of friends who have, much like my buddy Jay here, who brings stories to life through bones, through cards, through all sorts of different mediums. And so it's really obvious to be able to tell it's someone who brings something to the table, like, as I'm sure you could say, who has the baseline, like, information, just like, oh, I did a Ouija board once, I totally know what the paranormal is, and you go, well, that's adorable.
see, and I grew up, I never tried calling the dead. I always was like, let it be dead, let it alone. But I grew up in a place where there were a lot of hauntings. Our local hotel is very, very haunted. I've had experience with that, as well as I've had, since I grew up in Wyoming, there's a lot of burial sites and different things that have been characterized. So a lot of my friends lived on old battlefields and things like that.
Right.
I have a couple of stories that are a little bone chilling that go down the spine a little.
So what we're really looking for is, of course, to break these videos down, but we want to hear everything. We want to hear not only kind of the spiritual side, which we can offer and you guys can offer as well, but we do want to hear the technical side. We do also want to hear the personal side. All four of us are actors and work in theater. All four of us are directors and writers and producers. So we are pretty keen about trying to delve in and figure out what needs to happen to make good content. With these kind of videos, especially the ones that people put out, not just paranormal societies, there's a lot of reaction. So we can also kind of spend some time to dig into that too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good. So, what do you say we dive into the first video?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, good.
On my TikTok, Rebekah the Ghost Guide, I am regularly tagged in different people's videos, and a lot of people tag me in those videos to ask what my input is and what's going on, if I can explain what's happening, or even say, is it real and how to deal, right? Well, this is an up-and-coming TikToker. I mean, she's got a pretty good following. Well, it's larger than mine, so she's got a good following.
She's got a great following.
Yeah, like she's doing just fine for herself. I've been tagged in these videos over and over and over again, and I wanted to do a reaction to them. But she has disabled reactions and duets on TikTok, which made me angry because I have some things to say. And so I sent these off to you, and now we're going to review them on YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now you can't do anything about it.
Haha!
This is what happens when you put things on the internet.
And you know, we're not going to rip these apart. We do want to kind of
no.
get to the bottom of them.
Yeah,
So
I was just frustrated about that because I was like, I want to react.
Right.
And I consider myself pretty nice. Not in these circles, though.
Yeah,
But on
right.
TikTok.
So with her videos, her content, a lot of it is her going through her own kind of investigations.
Yeah, her house is haunted.
Her house is haunted.
Her duplex. That's what
yes.
she says.
But it's her kind of digging into that. Now, whether there's any veracity into that, we don't know. But let's take a look and find out, shall we?
Guys, it's happening again. Daisy is also down there right now, and there's no way she could make that knocking sound. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Daisy, honey, what's down there? Oh my god. I don't see it. Oh my god! I'm in the living room right now. Daisy, stop. It's okay. It's okay. Okay.
A lot of dead air in this video.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you are, you need to leave now. Now.
It's not as effective as I think she wants it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you happen to, because I know we're outside and there's a glare, did you happen to see what was at the bottom of the stairs?
So if you look specifically at the lights down there, kind of at the bottom of the stairwell,
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
yeah, you can see
Do
something
you see
walking
it?
away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's clear.
It is clear.
For me, too clear.
There is something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So first
Yeah.
impressions. What do we think?
I will say this from a cinematic standpoint and from a like an acting standpoint. I mean, I think she did a wonderful job. I mean, the use of the I'm not attacking her paranormals yet, but like the quick move in reaction that like it is psychologically gets your heart pumping better is a really good use of it. Her transitions are smart, bringing in an animal, and then the sounds happening when the animal is in plain view of the camera is always cinematically, whether it's paranormal or not, was a great use of her surroundings, and I
Mhm.
think that was really nice.
Very entertaining.
Yes,
Yes.
it was almost akin to like Paranormal Activity when that movie came out. Like even the smallest thing like set everybody off
Yep.
in the theater, and
Yep.
so I think it was akin to that where it's like you have this big build up with her building it up, and then you see that moment, and it's like can't not help but think it's real. Mostly.
That being said, though,
That being said,
That being said,
I always question consistent knocking with the paranormal.
mm-hmm.
Very rarely have I run into, at least within my own personal life or experiences of my friends, and I won't speak for you two, of course, that a consistent knocking, and if it is a knocking, it's usually not an evil one. It's usually not a negative specter, and so I would never be as scared or as worried about something that was making its presence known within my presence.
Mhm.
And so that, I mean, her fear level, it's either she is unaware of how a lot of specters or ghosts inhabit buildings and is just freaked out by any little noise, or...
There's something, there's something to be said on that on the basis of context, right?
Mhm.
Because some paranormal entities, they actually use knocking as a form of communication.
Mhm.
Because
Correct.
that's a form that they can do. Not everybody can just show up in form and be like, hi, I'm grandma. You know what I mean? Like, that's not,
Yeah.
it's very hard to do that in the spiritual world. But there's a definite difference between a knocking and a banging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like if she had heard banging, like all of a sudden, all of the doors downstairs just wham! That's angry. That's
Mhm.
angry.
Well, there are certain types of spirits called tulpas, thought form spirits, that there's no real intelligence there. There's no sentience. What they do is feed off of emotion, and they're usually created by emotion. So the knocks, something like that. It's not only a gentle reminder, like "Hi, I'm still here," but it's also to get a little bit of like coffee, coffee. You know,
Yeah. and
Every
how
little
hyped
reaction,
up she
yeah.
is could lead into that.
Yeah.
Something I want to ask everybody here then, because I noticed some things about her reactions. There was a lot of what we call in acting and direction, indication.
Yeah.
There was a lot of indication, which is instead of finding it as an actor, you find yourself in a specific place in a scene, in a beat where you need to be reacting a certain way. if you've done your homework as an actor, that happens organically. Your emotions flow into that place. But if you are indicating, it means like you need to be sad during the scene. You force it, and it doesn't feel right, and it's not the right thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There was a lot of indication.
There was a lot of reaction almost simultaneous with what she was reacting to,
Yeah.
if not slightly before. And that is a good sign to me that, like, Caitlin were to hit me, and I know she was going to happen. See, I said it, but I didn't know it was coming. But if I were to have, like, really tensed up and, like, going like this before she hits me, then I know it's coming. I bruised like a peach. That's not good.
And I think with her reactions as well, she reminded me of like when you're in middle school and like you're getting fake scared with your friends. Does that make sense? Like that reaction, since your one friend is freaking out, to freak the rest of everybody out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you have real encounters, I don't know about anybody else, but I know my fight or flight system kicks in.
Yeah.
I either run or I immediately find a way to guard myself and be able to fight it off. Like
Yeah.
there is a definite sense of your body knows that something is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have I mean, I guess you can go towards the danger, but I don't know many people who do.
It seems clear that she's recording it on TikTok too, which the issue with that is you've got to be prepared for it. These are 15 to 60 second cuts. So
And cuts is the operative word here. You can go straight through, but for something like this, they are exact cuts. Unless you are to make the video in a separate program and export it to TikTok.
right.
Well, I have a question for you. And this is just because sometimes my spiritual knowledge is not as much as I'd like it to be. How often do we hear an auditorial and a visual cue from a ghost within 60 seconds?
Dude.
It's, unless it is a severe haunting,
Yeah.
and by severe I mean dangerous, has put people in the hospital, not often. It's just, standard kind of thing.
Because
Yeah,
that was the
very
part
rare.
that really made me question
Yeah.
what I was watching. Was her to get a knocking, something moving at the bottom of the stairs, and then something in the kitchen. So either there are multiple ghosts in this duplex, which you'll be hard pressed to find outside of, I mean, large plantations, southern things, or like Wyoming hotels.
Steeped in a lot of...
Steeped in.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
to
all
find
that energy all at once.
to find two of them in your
Yeah.
house, I mean, you're either an extremely lucky paranormal finder.
Or living in Wilmington.
We're living in
We're
Wilmington.
living in Wilmington.
It's real
Or
though.
There's a
it's
lot of
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I do want to address to everybody, though, and I want to see what you think with this. The dog's reaction. And whenever there is an animal present in any kind of guaranteed authentic paranormal footage, the animal reacts either fight or flight, like you said, or reacts negatively.
Yeah.
Growling, fur standing on end. Every single time. That dog sat there and stared and got up and started to wag at the thing at the bottom of the stairs, because all of us saw
The dog's
that.
tail was up.
Dog's tail was up.
And the bark was not aggressive.
no.
Yeah.
Bark
That was,
was
I think I'm going to get to go play.
The physicality of the
Yes.
dog itself, the actual physical response of the dog, is not in tune with what happens during that kind of encounter.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like the dog was feeding off the energy of its owner, right? The girl filming it, she's getting scared. He thinks it's about to be playtime.
Yeah.
You know, as if you're training a dog in that instance, you would train your body to shut down if the dog starts barking,
Yeah.
so you don't have that reaction. But it's the hype up that they feel, because they're very, very perceptive animals, just like cats are. They feel the energy around.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
said
yeah.
she's in a duplex, right?
Duplex.
That's what she said. There's another video where she talks about
So
being in a
for
duplex.
downstairs to be dark, it's easy to script that where somebody's standing there, walks from this section that we saw, and then as soon as the camera comes around, walks away. It's too pat. It's horror script writing,
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I mean, like,
and not good horror script writing.
TikTok entertainment A+.
Yes.
Believability F.
Is it real?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's not.
If
Great entertainment.
It might have been more effective if, like, she had had, like, I would have been second guessing myself maybe if it had been, like, a figure in the darkness.
Yeah.
Because the shadow, it just gives the best evidence.
2001, I might have put it on TV. Like, the
Yeah.
reality is that style with the Blair Witch and all that stuff,
Oh, yeah.
2001, choice.
Yeah.
immediate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you had to give it like a percentage amount, what would you give?
I give her 30% for acting.
So like a 30-70 split?
Yeah.
Some
Benefit of the
good
doubt.
acting
I
from
think-
Gen Z.
I think that if there might, the idea of knocking does not just come to people. You immediately think corporeal, like when
Yeah.
you don't understand it.
Mhm.
So there may be something there, and so I will give her 20 to 30% on that. The knowledge base to not give me the thing first and the knocking first, and not to have stuff like it was throwing shit around.
Yeah.
Like, so there may be something there that is friendly and knocking,
Mhm.
and then she is using that to base these videos off of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for that reenactment, yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
30.
And that's
And
the thing. I wouldn't say that the house isn't haunted, but she's definitely using the haunted bits of her house to make entertainment.
Yes.
Yes. What would you give it?
I would give it, because I want to give this 2 grades. I feel like we're all kind of going with this. So for entertainment value, I give it a 90%. Because it's very entertaining, and I think we all agree on that. It's like,
Oh,
this is a great
yeah.
video. I mean, it has an arc, it has everything.
Before A, is it real?
Is it real? I will give 20%. The 20% for it being real, and the 20% leading back to the house could be haunted.
Yeah.
However, this is an extension of entertainment, maybe based upon the house being
Yeah.
haunted, not necessarily a haunting of the house.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to follow suit as well. I'm going to give it maybe a 75-25 against, because the knocking happens all the time. It's
And it
that's
could be
perfectly
anything.
plausible, and with the wealth of videos that she has, perfectly fun, perfectly understandable. The thing standing downstairs, crap. If it was real, if the general consensus is that it ain't, but if it was real,
How would you deal?
I would probably, if at that point I had not seen any negative effects, knocking and corporeal are one thing, but if I'm starting to see scratches, things like that, that's
Yeah.
when I would definitely go get a professional. But till that point, I would just leave it alone.
and there is something to be said. We've said this 100,000 times, and this is something that a pro will tell you as well. Just because it freaks you out does not mean it is a harmful spirit.
Absolutely.
Period. I mean, there are travelers, there are haints, there are residual imprint spirits, there are thought form spirits. It could be any one of those. There's a lack of data to really point out what it is, but either way, it's not harmful. Even if that thing walking on the bottom is walking around.
How
does
is it
have-
hurting you?
Yeah, does it have some juju? Yeah. Is it hurting you? No, it's just freaking you out a bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I would say too, I can appreciate that she did actually yell at it and be like, go away.
Yes, intent and will. It doesn't matter what your practice is. Doesn't matter if you're severely religious or a spiritual practitioner or none of the above. Intent and will is the biggest thing you can do to protect yourself.
Oh, see, and I thought that was more like when she did it, I was like, that's not going to be effective. That's just going to make it angry.
Sometimes that is the case. But when it comes to spiritual practice, people will use petition papers, they'll light candles, they'll pray, they'll do whatever it is. All of that is focusing of will. But the will still has to be there in the first place. Last video!
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, hey, guess what? Same TikToker. This
I'm so sorry.
Hey, but your entertainment value, it's fantastic.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if you didn't want us to go and kind of pull these apart and see how the guts work, then make it so reactions and comments are fine.
Yeah, we are reacting to the logistics, the paranormal side of it, the spiritual side of it.
Yes.
And we're also reacting to the entertainment value.
Yeah,
We're giving you high
exactly.
marks.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
the
you
high
entertainment's
got
great.
it.
And
Yeah.
look, if you want to improve, this is also a way to look at it as a way to improve.
Yes.
And better reach your audience, a different part of your
Yeah.
audience.
Poor girl.
I know.
I know, I feel so bad. I'm sorry. I don't
don't
do
feel
this
bad
often.
at all.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
feel bad
dear
at all.
Lord.
Ever.
I was going to cut all of this out, but I'm keeping it all in.
Oh, man.
So, this video in particular, this is her exploring with her roommate in the duplex she lives in, their basement, where they hear a lot of rattling, they hear quite a few bangs, bumps, and groans.
Same place we saw the entity.
In the, I believe, the downstairs apartment where we saw the person walking the last time, but this is even further down in the
Oh.
duplex.
Okay.
So this is them going into the creepy basement. I will freely admit it's creepy, but every basement's creepy.
They're dark.
Yep, they're dark. This is them looking around, though. There is one thing, however, at the end. I'm not going to put any inherent biases on this. Let's just go ahead and watch the video. It's rattling
Oh
already.
my god, that did not just happen. So what you guys saw in my last video was the hallway leading to my roommate's apartment, and she is home now. Whenever I filmed that video, she wasn't home, but she is home now, and we have decided that we are going to go in the basement. So, and we just heard noises coming from it. Yay! Okay. Wait it.
Creepy basement, that's
Whoa.
perfectly fine.
It's dark.
But like,
It's dark, it's a
okay.
basement.
I guess we'll go back to it.
We'll go back.
I'm wondering if I saw an orb or not, or if that was dust.
Okay, so we're gonna just go check out what's over here.
the water heater. No. Actually, I want to see if there was an orb too. So this one was clearly piecemealed back together from a long video.
Yeah. So we go down, we're in the basement.
Yeah, I think it's right as she hits the bottom of the
Yeah,
stairs.
there it is.
There it is. Let's slow that down. So there's a definite orb as we scroll through.
As it goes away from her, which is hilarious. It's like, I don't want to deal with
Now
you.
there's a second orb
Yeah.
in there.
Mhm.
Okay? Second orb in there.
And it looked like it was trying to come out the door as she was walking in.
Yes.
I love it. They're like, we don't want to have you here.
Also, why do you open the door so slowly?
Can I just say, it would be really funny if we get through this whole video and we're like, not real, not real, not real. And then she's like, well, yeah, I know. And then at the end, she's like, what? There's an orb?
Yeah.
There's actually
Two.
two
In different places.
The thing that bugs me right here with this, all of that is blocked off.
Yep.
You-
Can't
as
see
far as
anybody on the
sightline.
other side, Yeah.
and I never see her roommate. And her
Yeah.
roommate doesn't scream.
So two different orbs, yes. The one thing that absolutely destroyed me, that I saw it and I started to giggle, the broom falling.
Oh.
So here's something I do want to say, and I'll add a graphic for this. But here's the wall, right, that we saw. Okay, there it is. For that broom to fall the way it did, it would have to be perpendicular. Here's the bristles, right? The bristles are the biggest thing. If you put a broom like this, then it cannot fall like that. It'll twist as it falls. But if you put it like this, it'll fall perfectly fine, straightforward. Here's the wall, right? The broom fell just like that.
The difficulty to make a broom fall like that is not hard. However, we saw orbs moving away from
Yes.
both times. The orbs, if you go back, you can slow down the video. There are something there, but they're always, one was actually getting out of the room as she slowly enters.
Both
Yeah.
were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Getting out of her way, and it wasn't as if something was pulled from a wall and thrown, or pulled from a wall and
Yeah.
dropped.
Yeah.
It was like it was straight up. They dropped it, and then it got to fall once you got close enough.
And two things about that too. One, you can see the bristles of the broom exactly kind of just maybe 3 or 4 inches behind the edge where you couldn't see. The sideline was also my thing. It's easy to hide someone back there.
Giant water heater.
Giant water heater. It's easy to hide someone back there out of camera. You mentioned something really smart though about the composition of the video. What she says at the very beginning, it's Chekhov's gun, right?
Mhm.
Chekhov's gun means if you show a gun in Act 1, that gun better be used in Act 2. She talked about her roommate.
Her roommate. Where was the roommate?
Her roommate didn't scream. Her roommate didn't go
Up the stairs.
Yeah.
go down. Yeah, didn't
So
go
why
down.
does it matter if the roommate's home?
But didn't she say in the video they were going to go downstairs?
Yes.
And you can hear the roommate at the
At
beginning of the video.
Yes.
And this one also has a little bit more of an annoyance for me because it's clearly a full video that is edited down.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
There are clear moments of editing. It's not the camera switching around. Also, I don't know if you all noticed this, but in the video, on one side of the room, there's an assortment of brooms and stuff.
Yeah.
And as she pans over, that's where the one lonely broom is on the other
Yeah.
side.
And here's my other thing. Third of all, if you do have a broom there, that is a safety issue. You should not have brooms anywhere near vents or anything. That is a fire hazard. You need to remove that broom in the first place. That's where I go for it.
Yeah, if that's your landlord, lady, call OSHA.
See, the orb thing surprised me. That surprised me, even me. So it's like,
I love it.
there's no
She
way
doesn't
this
even
duplex is
focus on
haunted.
it. She never goes back to it. That's the
Yep.
best piece of evidence.
It's again, I always question why. You know, the ghosts already got, like, the orbs already flew out of there.
Yeah.
Why would they go back to throw a broom if they're already like, no, we're out?
No, we're gone.
You have to think of intent, and at this point, there is no reason for these orbs to be violent or to try to be corporeal. And he said,
and then Jay brought up something talking about the last video that I think is the most important about this particular paranormal video maker, and consistency. The reactions to the different assortment of things. That broom wasn't whipped. It wasn't thrown across the room.
No,
it
fell.
It fell, which, yes, the falling, it was already sitting like this, so that for it to fall like that, absolutely. I mean, like, for us to see how it fell, it literally had to have been sitting. I guess this is probably better.
You know, I almost akin it to someone behind it pushing. Now, for a corporeal to be able to do that, you need to get out of the house. Like, get out.
Well, I mean,
it's
within reason, but
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yes.
One thing I do want to touch
Okay.
on. One thing I very much want to touch on with all four of us here. All four of us are theater professionals in every aspect you can think of within theater. Her reaction at the end, it doesn't matter whether you have worked on Broadway, whether you've worked in equity theaters, or you've just done community theater all your life. It does not take a good actor to recognize a bad one.
to give you understanding, raise your hand if you have worked in an equity house or toured in a professional theater that lasted longer than 9 months. So this is the information you're getting.
Yes.
Like I've toured, she has toured, equity houses, like
Yep.
we've done it all. So when we're talking about acting, we're not just like, oh, I did my community theater stuff.
All of us do this as pros, and
have fun.
the reason we say it is not to be braggadocio, but to put the gravity of the thing in there. Her reaction at the end was pure indication. Her reaction at the end was,
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Here's a really good indication of whether you can tell it's indicating fear or whether it's real fear. Nobody in pure terror screams the entire time. It is like a burst of energy. This is for actors out there. It's like, oh, and then gone.
Yeah,
there is
gone.
a
You are
noise.
flight mode.
There
It
is
is a
a flight mode.
firecracker.
Like, nobody actually
Yeah.
runs screaming. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, granted, somebody's watching this who's been at something terrible, but I've yet to see anybody in a terrifying situation just running and being like, ah, you know, like the whole time.
Well,
you
and
know?
it's a neurological, it's a mind thing. Ha!
Neurological.
I
Yeah.
can speak. Your body is conditioned to respond when you're in your flight mode to be quiet, to be as silent as possible. That is why your scream only lasts so long, because your body goes, we need to be silent and get away.
It's like an emotional hiccup. So,
The question
Is it real?
Okay. The orbs, yes. Are you haunted? You might be. I would maybe take a second look at those orbs.
You might not now that they've run away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The broom thing, yeah, that's probably not
I mean,
real.
she's got. I mean, it is a good indication. There's at least two.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that 10% of this is real, and I'm assuming they're going to be reenactments for your TikTok, like maybe events that did happen in smaller scales or stuff like that, because there's clearly indications of something there. I mean, I saw something. We all saw something.
Yes.
It wasn't what you wanted, but it was there.
Yeah.
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 what do you think?
Yeah, because I think the way that we're judging this is there are two values here. There's entertainment value, and then there's real values. For the ghosty stuff, I'm leaning more, I'll say 15%. But here's the thing, with that 15% being real, it goes to those orbs.
Yeah.
It goes to the orbs, because that's the kind of evidence you want. It's not
Yes.
always flashy, but it is there, and I feel like any paranormal investigator would back that up.
Yes.
People forget the science of investigation versus the extraordinary aspects of investigation. Investigations, like you go see Ghost Adventures, right? That's the big one. We're not going to get into it.
History Channel.
We're not going to get into it. There's anger here.
It's like Flat Earth series. Once you
don't
start
know.
watching, you can't stop.
It's one of those things where everybody expects you walk in with all this gear and you sit there and you piss things off for a single evening, and as soon as it shows itself, you run away screaming. I hate that.
That's not
But
how to do
also,
it.
investigations can sometimes take months, if not a year, to get any reliable data. Not just data, but reliable, consistent, replicable data.
And my biggest thing with her TikToks, I guess, that on the real side of it, entertainment side, we could count. I mean, if you cleaned up some of like the reactions to make them a little bit more believable, you would probably be doing even better. It's you have too many extraordinary events happening too many times.
Too conveniently.
Too conveniently.
You know, in all honesty, again, it's not really that. I think it might be something, if she were to reevaluate this kind of horror in the future, I mean, she needs to take it a step farther in order to make more. I mean, this would scare me when I was younger.
Yeah. But
now it's like, I've seen scarier things, you know? It's like, there's gotta be...
You have found the tropes of paranormal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Find the depth of it.
Now, what is it?
It makes me feel like it's a memory.
Like
just
a residual kind of?
Yeah, like
Residual.
of a past tenant or someone that was there. It's the objects, if it was real, the objects that it's going after, the where you find it more than likely feels like someone who is comfortable within that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the parts that are real, and especially where you found the orbs, and as the orbs, they're showing signs of personality by avoidance and not just walking through or standing still.
Yeah.
And
Give them
that's
the basement. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
give
just
them
want
the
the
take it.
basement.
Give them the basement.
have it.
and that's why it makes me think it's part of the memory, a residual leftover of a person that was there.
Yeah.
All
Crazy.
basements are creepy.
Yes.
That is the lesson we need to, like,
Yeah.
really instill
Period.
here.
I mean, I disagree.
Basements are great.
I'm going to go with imprint or residual spirit as well.
Mhm.
For those who, we've said it a lot, we've mentioned it in other videos, but residual spirits, think about it like this. It's like a looping video. If you've ever heard stories of like Lydia's Bridge or the spirits that thumb a ride with you to go back home and they disappear out of your car, it's a looping video. It's like you put your hand in concrete. You know, your handprint is still there, but your hand isn't. It's that idea of what they did.
And I would say it's a step above residual, just by a little bit.
'Cause it does react. It does.
Yeah, because it's going away.
So, the last bit, how to deal with it.
Let it alone.
Let it be.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't mess with it.
if it is not being malicious, which nothing that I saw in those videos
At
was
all.
malicious.
No.
Because
Live and let live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you cannot live with it, it
Yeah.
hurts me to say go find a professional, but like it's
Yeah.
your home now, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Or name it. Again, make it personable. It helps your fear.
Make it less
helps you
scary.
feel less scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for the ghost. It's for you
Yeah.
and your fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check your own impulses. Just because it freaks you out doesn't mean it's harmful. If you're to the point, though, where it is doing nothing but freaking you out, either get a pro, which is kind of rude to the spirit, or move. It was there first. So with all of that being said,
I know.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jordan and Caitlin, for coming. Give them a round of applause. Yes! Yay! Why 5? Do y'all have anything going on throughout the COVID crisis, throughout the quarantine?
actually, I am starting. It'll probably be released in about a week or so. I'm going to be releasing cooking videos for actors who want to stay healthy and want to eat the
Hey!
correct ways.
Yeah.
I have a pretty big kitchen, and so I thought that would be fun. We have a hashtag on Instagram called #WolfLifestyle. You can usually find out
You can look us up there.
and then whenever this is over, we'll be doing a musical together.
Yes, we will. We'll be doing Daddy Long Legs, the musical. Both our Instagrams. You can check us out on Instagram. Check out us, who we are. I do not have a TikTok. Don't try to find me. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Don't have me.
I'm trying.
Keep an eye peeled too for Quirks and Conjure for all kinds of fun content with both Rebekah the Ghost Guide, but also more videos from Is It Real and How to Deal. But in the meantime, help some folks out since we don't have any reliable income coming right now. Subscribe button right here.
Watch our stuff.
Hit it. Hit that subscribe button.
Hit
Yes,
it!
And everybody poke the subscribe button. Poke it.
I'm gonna smack it.
And most
I didn't-
importantly, you see that bell right here? Punch
Oh, we're punching the bell.
that bell. Hit it. I'm gonna have to add in all of these bells in post. Awesome. But y'all, thank you so much. Check out all the other videos if you want. Make sure to check out Jordan and Caitlin on all of their platforms. But y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and stay spooky. We'll see you next week.
Mwah.